Now, in this video, I'm going to show how I actually went and did an in-person demonstration with a pizzeria. And previously in this training, you actually heard the cold call where I landed the appointment with Jake. And basically, I went into the business, but before I did, I made sure to do a few things. One, I really made sure to research the business before I connected with them. I really wanted to know where are they winning, where are they losing, where could I add value. So I did a full audit on their website, their social media page, their review sites like Yelp. I looked over their website to see if they had any sort of online ordering or mobile ordering, a mobile app, reservations, loyalty, what was the experience like. And these are things that you really need to know before you go into the business. You need to know more about the business than they do in terms of what's going on and what people are saying about their business before you even talk to them. And it makes the conversation so much more powerful. So when I went into the business, this is all I really brought. I just brought basically the presentation that you saw previously. It was pretty blank, but I added some few extra customizations to it to really tailor it and personalize it to the business owner. And these are my real notes. So I actually sit down with the business owner and I wrote down basically where they thought they ranked amongst some things I thought were important to their business based on my research, and wrote down basically some things that they were really proud of and just general notes about their business. And then I also asked how many loyal customers they have. So I asked, how many loyal customers do you think you have? And they'll tell you. They told me around 200. And then I asked, how many times do these people come in per week? And they usually said, usually once or twice. And then I asked, how much do they typically spend every time they come in? And they told me $15 to $20. And so you use those numbers in this presentation to really build out a return on investment model that they using their numbers. So these are their numbers that they're saying to you, and if your argument is that you can increase their customer loyalty by just 10%, it's a pretty believable argument, and it's extremely realistic because you're using their numbers. You're not making up numbers up yourself. But again, it really comes down to the research. So before I went in, I looked at their website. I looked to see if they had any sort of mobile solution, or what was their mobile experience like, what was their current marketing strategy, just to get a feel for kind of the places that they're winning and the areas where I can really, really help, and look to understand the business and kind of bring something to the table when I speak to them. So what I did was I also pointed out that their last review was about a month ago on Yelp. So there wasn't any sort of real strategy to get more reviews into the business. I also noticed that the last time they posted on their Facebook page was on February 10th. And then I also noticed that the last comment on their Facebook page was not a positive one. So I just point these things out to them and continue on with my presentation. Go through the rethink methodology, again explaining how the world has changed and how they need to really shift how they think about their business, because again, no matter how much they market their business, the most powerful form of marketing is when customers are marketing their business for them. And so the whole presentation is revolved around how can we basically take your customers and turn them into loyal customers to create more advocacy and increase your rankings. And so as I went through this again, I went through a list of what I thought would be important to them. So I went through things like mobile ordering, since it's a pizzeria, customer referrals, positive reviews, loyal customers, customer communication, like do they have any sort of email marketing system? Do they send out specials at any time? How would they rate their overall marketing plan? And these are very general type aspects of their marketing, but you'd be surprised at what they tell you. And so after I went through with them, obviously I went back to my office and I added all of this into a follow-up email, and I created goals. So basically, we're going to basically increase all of these to 10s. That is our goal, is we want to implement mobile ordering to add a new revenue stream. We want to increase your customer referrals, your reviews. We want to get you more loyal customers. We want to give you a way to communicate with your customers through push notifications and potentially email marketing as well. and potentially create a specialist program. There's just so much that we could do with this business, and we're just going off the scores that the owner told me. And so I'm using that to basically build a strategy on how a mobile application can help grow their business. And again, showing them the loyalty revenue gains if they implement something like this and they get more customers coming in more frequently, and what are the returns. And so using their numbers, so they told me 200 loyal customers probably in a rough amount visit 2 times per week, and they spend on average between $15 to $20 on average. So again, the math is pretty simple. It's just 200 loyal customers, and then 2 times a week, that's just 2 times 56, which is 112. And I just added in their average purchase price, and this is where you get basically what they're doing now. And then when you add in the 10% increase, I'm just increasing this by 10% and increasing each number by 10%, and you see the revenue gains that they can get. So this is 10% increase in just loyal customers. So if they can get 20 more loyal customers, this is how much revenue they're going to gain. And then if they can take their existing loyal customer base and get them to come in just 10% more through the use of push notifications or better communication or just offering a better experience, then they can see this potential gain. But if they do both, they get more loyal customers and they get them coming in more, they're going to see a much, much larger gain. And what if it's 20%? What if it's 30%? So again, 10% is a very, very modest goal to try to hit with businesses, and it shows a huge return on investment. And it really paints that picture after the sale. So this is what you can expect after the sale. And these numbers aren't unrealistic because a 10% increase is a relatively small increase. We can absolutely get this business 20 more loyal customers to come in 2 times per week, and that would result in, a pretty substantial annual revenue gain for the business. And again, I go through the slides like I did previously, explain basically again how other large corporations are using this powerful mobile technology and spending millions of dollars to do so, and we're enabling them to do the same sort of marketing strategy where they're turning their customers into marketers for their business, but at a fraction of the price. And then my follow-up email is pretty simple. I just say, hey Jake, it was great meeting you today. I owe you for the pizza. I actually got a free pizza just from going in there and giving a presentation. And I just give them some collateral. Here's 2 case studies we did with other restaurants as well as the presentation. I went with you today. Once I ran the numbers, if we can increase your loyal customers by 10% and the amount they come in by 10%, you'd see an $80,000 return on investment. 20%, that's $160,000. So you're really just painting the picture for them. And then the next follow-up is we agreed to work on an example mobile application because there was a strong interest, and this is a location with 4 different establishments. So I met with one owner or one partner, and so we're going to meet with the other owner where we're going to present the mobile solution and go through another demo, and that's probably where we're going to try to close the deal or see if this is a good fit. So again, it's really just about using their numbers, understanding their business, doing research, and you really just need to become, a trusted advisor to the business, and you go in there just looking to help. And painting the picture of the world has changed. It really has, and that is the truth. And you're not bringing in a sales pitch with a product with some functionality. You are literally showing them data about their business that if they improve upon these things, they will grow as a business. And that's the end of the presentation, which I sent over. I obviously cleaned it up a little bit, and we'll definitely teach you guys how to do that. But before we do, we'll go ahead and give you guys a quick quiz. Thanks.